It's also time we read a little bit of viewer mail. Sometimes I get letters written to me, sometimes they're the YouTube comments, sometimes a little combination of both. This is a classic. Double letters.
Wow.
Dear Wilds, can you make sure the bots aren't taking over the comments on the steady march to 1 million subscribers on the First Things First YouTube channel? Sincerely, Ryan and Brian. Well, thank you, Ryan and Brian. We will look to address that. Each of your videos is a real discovery. Thank you for the new knowledge. Gosh darn bots everywhere. If the bots are going to be out in full force, I would recommend that you use a new AI, what we call Brew AI. Where Bruce said he forgot about this one. We're just recycling it. It's eco-friendly graphics.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember Brew AI?
Do you remember that, Nick?
Of course I remember.
Was I here that day?
Yes,
I
it
believe
just says it only has one command. It just says,
And it
I
works.
believe in you.
After the Bud list.
I don't hate
Yeah,
that.
it's good. You can get it. Download it.
All right, well, here we go. I high on motivation this week.
okay, good.
All
Thank
NBA, all NBA. We start with Paolo Banchero.
Wow.
The Orlando Magic, one-time Wilds team. Paolo, I like your game. You score, you rebound, you pass. You don't shoot well, only 31% from three. But I think that'll improve. You are a very good player. But here's the deal. They don't win when you're on the court. It seems like the team they get worse. Really worse. Okay, here's the record. When Paolo's out, they're 19 and 15. There's a guy averaging 24 points, 7 boards, and 5 assists a game, coach. And they're 19 and 15 without him, 10 and 19 with him.
Weird.
Really?
Now, here's what do the numbers mean? The 19 and 15 would equivocate over 82 games to a 46-win team. The 10 and 19 would be a 28-win team.
Yeah.
So there is something going on. And remember, a few months ago, they looked like, here come the Magic.
Yeah.
Kind of with Indiana as one of those young up-and-coming teams. They were 22 and 17 because Paolo missed November and December. Since he got back, they're 7 and 17. Everybody's like, the Magic are falling off. Well, Paolo's presence has something to do with it. They're a great defensive team. It just seems like it may not be a fit. Although last year, him and Franz played well together. They both average about 25 points a game. Last year, they won 47 games. This year, obviously falling apart. But still, looks like they're going to make the postseason. So, Paolo, I believe in you. But you got to win games. That's what it comes down to, not just your numbers. All right, number 2, Zion.
Oh.
Zion, I'm proud of you. It's tough down there in New Orleans. We were down in New Orleans for the Super Bowl. It's tough to eat well down there. I'm from Louisiana. Gumbo, jambalaya.
Turtle soup.
Nick eats turtle soup.
Delicious.
Boudin. Not many people know about boudin, but I'm from the country in Louisiana. Boudin. That's a beignet.
Fried alligator.
All of that. And Zion has he's turned over his plate. He's down to reportedly about 264 pounds. When he reportedly has weighed well above 300. There's been reports even going as high as 330 pounds. You look great. You always play well. Your numbers are always great. Since you've been back a few months ago, 25.5 points, 7 boards, 5 assists on 61% shooting. You look more explosive. You've said you've changed your diet, different exercise and workout patterns and all that. Here's what I'll say to you, Zion. Stick with it. Stick with it. He's only 24. 24 years old. It feels like he's older because he was, came into the league as so hyped. You're only 24 years old, and I'm going to say it. Probably don't believe it, but I'm going to put it out there because I don't think it's out of the question. He still could be a potential face of the league. If he could win and continue to play like this and stay at this
His style of play.
His style of play is it's so fun to watch, and it's so great, and it's different from most of the players today because he's always at the rim. So, Zion, I do believe in you.
Nice.
So keep that plate turned over.
Imagine how dominant it'd be if dunks were worth 3. Oh, my.
All right, here's one at number 1. Karl-Anthony Towns.
Ooh.
Cat, another congratulations. I think, look, Cat has been very good throughout his career. But there was a time a few years ago when he was recognized as like one of the best, absolute best young players in the league. I think there were some of those GM polls. He was a guy that got some votes for who you would start a team
He won
with.
it 1 year.
Okay, there you go. And now he fell off from that even as he kept putting up numbers in Minnesota. But now you're starting to get back to that. You're doing it in New York, big market, 25 points a game, career high, 13.5 rebounds. You're second in the league there. You're playing great basketball. But here's what's going to get you back to being like that you're going to make All-NBA this year, but being a perennial All-NBA talent and in that discussion is winning games. And lifting your team to contender status. And as much as you win, and Ramsey, I'm sorry to say this, you guys aren't contenders because you can't beat the good teams. Everybody knows the record now. 0-7 against OKC, Cleveland, and Boston. But I'm going to throw in the Lakers.
So then,
The top two seeds in each conference, the Cavs and Celtics in the East, the Thunder and Lakers in the West. You guys are 0-8 against them, but you have a chance to change it tonight against the Lakers.
Yeah.
In LA, you got the Lakers, and you got to, I don't know that you're the vocal leader of the team, but you got to rile up your teammates. You have to say, the buck stops here. All right? We are turning over a new leaf. All right? This is redemption, guys. This starts tonight.
Good.
All right, we are going to show the world we can beat good teams. We're going to show ourselves we can beat good teams. All right, go ahead and do that tonight, Cat, and then you will get all of New York behind you. Because there's a rumor out there.
Oh,
Draymond said it on his podcast.
what is it?
You know, Cat missed the last game against Golden State, Jimmy Butler and Steph and those guys. And Draymond said the word is, now it was unspecified personal reasons. Draymond said the word is, what's out there, the scuttlebutt, that he didn't want to play against Jimmy Butler because of what Jimmy Butler did. I'm just saying, it's out there.
You know
I'm
what?
fundamentally rejecting that.
It's out there. People think Cat is soft. People think Cat is soft.
That I understand.
You
got to
change that.
also has guys he goes at.
Yeah.
And Cat's one of them.
All right.
And so
but Cat, I believe in you, so get it done tonight. Get it done.
Good. A lot of motivation there.
I told you, I'm trying to motivate
You called
guys.
that one too.
Yeah, I have so many feelings after this. Wow. First of all, I want to go on vacation wherever you went on vacation.
Yes, fire it up.
Because you are juiced up. Love the Zion take, being calorically challenged. I get that. Someone better let him know that at 24, your metabolism is pretty high. It gets worse from there.
Get worse.
So it's good he's taking care of that. But I'm going to shift focus to a team that's done something they haven't done in 31 years, and that's lose for 3 consecutive seasons. The New England Patriots.
This better be motivation.
Oh, it's motivational. You've got 31 years. You haven't had 3 losing seasons in a row, and now you've done it. Wow. You've got $126 million in salary cap space, so you've got plenty of room to work in free agency. You've got 9 draft picks, 4 of which are in the top 80 players in the draft.
Love it.
And your 5th draft pick is at 105. So you got 5 guys of the top 100 college players available to you, so you have a chance to improve your team dramatically both ways. You've drafted 2 first-round quarterbacks. Hopefully this is the one that's going to work. You've moved on from the Bill Belichick era. He's off in college, so you're done. You're done with living in that shadow. He's not even in the NFL anymore. However you want to categorize Mayo, you're a year past that, and you get Mike Vrabel, who I think is a really good hire because not only does he understand what it means to be a Patriot and the Patriot way, but he's been out in the universe, he's been out in the rest of the world, so he's bringing a different perspective to that. And you add Josh McDaniels to that too. He brings the history as well as a really strong track record with quarterbacks and young quarterbacks as well, as we know, what he did the last time with the first round draft pick. So that's positive.
Great.
Yeah, it is. And look, they were pretty bad offensively last season. I think Josh is going to help that significantly. But it's time now to do better. It's time now to create a new sort of Patriot way that honors the legacy of the past, but it's got to move into the future, because I think that Bill had done things very successfully for a long time. in his way, but the league there's things now that you can incorporate to make this, honor the past, but also come back to the future.
What a bud list so far.
Right.
So motivational. We are 4 for 4.
Brew, do you believe in the Patriots?
I like what Coach said, and obviously I like the Vrabel hire. My feeling in the past was nobody wants their money. I mean, DK Metcalf's already erased them from his list. Now, maybe if they overpay. But with Vrabel, I do think that guys might, look at it as a different regime. We respect Vrabel. We know he can coach. Maybe that'll get guys to take the money and, they can be
If you're afraid of the cold, you're afraid of the cold. It's okay.
Well, he's not afraid of the cold in Buffalo.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
New
Afraid
England.
of the money, then. Buffalo doesn't have the money.
It's a little after 4:10 on a Thursday, Wilds. What does that mean?
Sometimes I get a whiff of what the media ombudsman is going to be.
You got one this
No way.
No, I don't know what's going on now.
Okay, but it is time
for the media
sports
ombudsman,
media
whether you
ombudsman.
like it or not.
So here's the thing. Little known fact. Sports media ombudsman does not always have to be critical. We just survey the sports media landscape.
So far, it's a perfect game of criticism.
I think every single time it's been critical.
That ends today.
Wow, 5 for 5.
I would
motivation.
like to pay tribute to the first show I ever DVR'd and a landmark show in our field, Around the Horn.
Oh, this is great.
So, quick story, folks. 13 years ago, I was doing radio in Houston and had one kind of side quest goal. I'm going to get on Around the Horn. And I flew to New York City, met with the creator of the show, Eric Wright, went great. Met with another person, gave him my whole pitch and said why I thought, even though I wasn't a writer, maybe I could be a good fit on the show. That person then quickly told me, sounds great, I actually have nothing to do with that show, and kicked me out of his office. That person, coincidentally enough, hand to God, was Kevin Wilds.
I don't know why you're...
But that's that's neither
I know
here
it is. I
nor
wanna
there.
get Around the Horn.
Wilds was like, I work on a show
around.
called Overman. You must have walked into the wrong office. But that's not the point.
Good luck, kid.
The point is...
Beat it.
The point is, whether for anybody around my age, that show in PTI coming on the air was groundbreaking. And then for people in our field, it was a real man, if only I could get on Around the Horn. And what they were able to do in giving so many people opportunities. It's how I got to know Bomani Jones. It's how a lot of, I can't list all the people. And what Reale, who I've never met, but has 100% approval rating as one of the kindest people ever, what he was able to do from basically being a kid hosting that show, for that thing to run for 23 years and almost 5,000 episodes is a truly historic accomplishment. And so one of the few career moments is I never was on it. And I always wanted to be. And so credit to them and shout out to them and credit to all the people who ride home and Solomon and Reality and everybody who built it. And so
No, that's
great.
good. And if it makes you feel any better, I was never on it either.
I couldn't believe it.
That's like about the only show on ESPN.
That you did them all.
Yeah, I did PTI and obviously Sports Centers and all that.
I'll add one more
Yeah,
thing
never
since
did.
we're giving out flowers to Reale. Tony Reale, sorry, I'm getting yelled at to sit up. Tony Reale, who you see on TV, you know from TV, is just as friendly, energetic, and passionate and kind in real life as he is on TV. So every good thing you think about Tony Reale, if you met him, he would be like that 100%. I think that's why he's been so successful. The show, and he cares so much about that show, and he's so good at it. So shout out to Tony. He's just an amazing guy. Now I'm going to talk about Achilles tendons. Tough turn. It's a tricky
Nice
turn.
segue.
But the next, I'm putting Achilles tendons on the bud list. Everybody knows that I have a side gig as the editor of Hobble Watch when we have a publication, Walking Boot Weekly.
Yes.
And one of the tenets of Walking Boot Weekly is that the Achilles tendon, not to be messed with. and it is not a 1-year injury. It is a 2-year injury. And finally, today, I got some medical backup from the Wall Street Journal. We had this headline: the NFL thinks Aaron Rodgers is washed. Science suggests he's a bargain. Why is that?
Wow.
Long article. I'll read you some of the highlights. This is from Dr. Rosenblatt, Chief Executive of True Sports Physical Therapy in Maryland. When Aaron Rodgers came back, he was likely functioning at around 70%. But by the time next season rolls around, he should be closer to 100%. That's when you start to see guys fly.
Wow.
It's usually around that 18-month to 2-year period where an athlete forgets he has the Achilles repair. So it's a little bit one part physical, one part mental. So then I had Josh pull the numbers on the two guys who have bad Achilles. They returned. Obviously, Rodgers returned almost a year to the day, and he was no good. Kirk Cousins came through even earlier, but when week 1, on that Sunday, it will be 727 days for Aaron Rodgers, 680 for Kirk Cousins. If you're wondering, when's the last time I saw an Achilles surgery work out perfectly and that we don't even think about that guy having it? Good. Thanks for asking. Kevin Durant, 552 games in 4 days. He didn't come back 365. He went 552, and we're like, wow, he's with the Nets. We're like, man, this guy's great all of a sudden. I didn't even know it. So that means I, all of a sudden, truly believe in the spirit of the Bud list in Kirk Cousins and Aaron Rodgers. We started to see it at the tail end of last year. Is this just like an attitude thing, or did he fall out? No, it's just the Achilles 2-year injury. I'm starting to believe in those guys again. You buying that?
Well, I still think the Steelers should sign Aaron Rodgers.
Do you think they're getting Jets Aaron Rodgers or Packers Aaron Rodgers?
Well, I don't think they'll get the MVP level Aaron Rodgers, but I think that his numbers last year were okay. I don't think he played as well as his numbers suggest, but I think they could get a good Aaron Rodgers.
What did it say anything in that? I didn't read the article, the Wall Street Journal article about 90 days post-rupture playing free safety in an NFL practice, or about listening to Dolphins mate as part of your recovery.
Did it say anything about whether he believed Dr. Rosenblatt?
He did not believe Dr.
His part of me, not to get to that his war on conventional medicine, perhaps conventional medicine won, but now either way, it's a new matchup for 2020.
I would be more optimistic if that article would make me more optimistic about Cousins than Rodgers.
A little bit.
Because if Rodgers had never been hurt, a guy who turns 42 during next season, you'd have huge questions about.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And Cousins, to me, looked like a player more impacted by lack of mobility than Rodgers did. But it's... Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.